Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. The Eagles lose in gut-wrenching fashion on Monday Night Football against the Falcons. Questionable decision-making in the fourth quarter has Nick Sirianni under fire, while the defense looks a lot like the one from last year's disastrous season. Where should the blame be laid? What's our concern level 2 weeks into the season? Mayor Cherelle Parker announces that an agreement has been reached with the Sixers to go through with the controversial arena on Market East. The Phillies close in on clinching a playoff spot as they remain neck and neck with the Dodgers for the top seed in the league. Matvei Mishkov scores a goal in his debut in the rookie game against the Rangers. Alexei Kolosov is not expected to report to camp. All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Can't complain. Another beautiful day in Philadelphia. Another miserable day in Philadelphia sports, so it's pretty much business as usual, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Phillies are losing against the Mets right now, thanks to another wonderful outing from Taijuan Walker.
Yo, me saying I was excited for him to come back on
Maybe
that
the worst
solo
take
pod.
ever.
Like, we've had some bad takes on this pod. That is without a doubt the worst take.
That probably erases like a lot of your good.
It totally does.
All those fucking notes that you take, all that shit.
All for
you know what I mean?
Like, well, when you're doing a solo pod, man, you have to have some takes. You have to keep people listening.
It's true. You gotta.
Yeah.
That I probably didn't have to go to the extreme.
You gotta.
That was a lot.
You gotta take some bigger risks. You know.
But yeah, that was
bigger gambles.
That was a big swing and a miss. Like we just saw what Brandon do.
Yeah. I mean, you figure the way the game's playing out right now, had Walker not done what he did, we probably would be in a good spot right now. I mean, 6 runs, 9, whatever they got, 6 they got. That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
they scored.
Okay. Last night they just couldn't fucking score.
Yeah.
Aaron Nola was fine, but tonight score some runs, and we got Taijuan Walker throwing up meatballs.
Well, the way I look at it is that the start of the last Mets series, it was 11-3, and the Mets were like, "Oh my god,
then
this
we
is
won the
crazy."
next 2 games,
and then we won the next 2 in a sneaky fashion. I'll take that. So if they want to ride their high and pump up their postseason chest, go for it. But at the end of the day,
are they still doing the Grimace thing? Are they still in on Grimace?
I don't think
know.
so.
I haven't heard a lot on.
I remember that for a while, but now.
Nah, Mrs. Met is back.
Yeah, she's still back with that BBL.
Yeah, she's back in town.
Yeah, you think Mrs. Met got a BBL? I mean, there's no way Mrs. Met was that thick in the 70s, dude.
No, I don't think it would be legal.
Back. Well, I don't think it would have been illegal, but people that didn't. I don't know. Did people get down with thickness in the 70s?
I don't think so.
I don't think thickness was as much of a thing in the 70s.
Not in the same way that it is now, for sure.
Our parents are listening. We could ask them, yo, did y'all like thickness in the 70s? Parents chime in.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's like,
we got our first email response coming through.
First email.
No, there's no way Mrs. Met was always that thick. She got a BBL in the last 5 years.
I don't think Mrs. Met even existed in the 70s.
Right.
I don't think.
Yeah, I guess Mr. Met probably did.
Mr. Met's been around for a long time.
When do you think Mrs. Met became a thing?
That's a good question.
When Mr. Met got lonely, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
All those postseason droughts, they were like, "Well, we got to do something here." Yeah.
When baseball turned woke, when they had to throw Mrs. Met in there.
Yeah, you think Mr. Met was on Tinder?
Yeah, he's like, you know what?
On Tinder,
just a lonely mascot trying to find my fucking queen out here, and found her.
Yo,
but yeah,
being a mascot. I was having this conversation with someone today. This guy reached out to us at work. Like, for those of you that don't know, I work for a book publisher and a disc manufacturer. And this guy reached out to us at work. Wants to get his memoir printed. He was the Houston Rockets mascot for 21 years.
Damn.
What is the Houston Rockets mascot?
I don't know what it is now. He was Comet the Bear.
I don't think it's that anymore.
No, I don't think it is. I don't know. I don't keep up with the Houston Rockets. Yo, you know who has cool mascot though? The Toronto Raptors. They got that dinosaur. I don't know his name. He's cool as hell, dude.
That makes sense.
And then, of course, I had to talk. My coworker was like, "Oh yeah, you guys have that one hockey mascot." I was like, "Oh yeah, you're talking about Gritty." My coworker lives in Washington State.
Yeah,
they don't have no idea about none of like what goes on here, right? So I was like, "Oh yeah, Gritty," but I was like, "You know who the OG is? The Philly Fanatic." They were like, "Who's that?"
They didn't know who the Philly Fanatic is?
Nah.
I feel like even people who don't follow sports know who the Philly
Well,
fanatic
that's
is.
the thing is Gritty's become such a meme, and like he's such a like.
Yeah, I guess. I don't
As
know.
we've said on this here pod, he's just become such a like a meme, a leftist icon. That like everyone knows who he is.
That's true.
Yeah,
Like
I
I couldn't tell you who the Seattle Mariners
Do they have
I don't
one?
think
mascot
they
would
have
be.
one.
Do the Kraken have one? They have to have
Wouldn't it
one.
be a Kraken?
It could just be the big sea
I don't know
monster.
if they do.
They would have a great
That's a missed
mascot.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey,
better than a fucking penguin.
yeah, well, Pittsburgh. Penguins don't
mascot.
even live in Pittsburgh. That's stupid.
And as a mascot, come on now.
Yeah,
If it was
hold up. Why are they the Pittsburgh Penguins? Penguins don't live anywhere near Pittsburgh.
Steelers, makes sense.
Yeah, the Steel
Pirates
City.
also don't make sense. They're land.
Yeah, I guess Pirates could come inland up the Allegheny somehow. They'd be taking a circuitous route to get to Pittsburgh, though they ain't stopping in Pittsburgh. They're stopping well before then. But Penguins makes 0 sense. But then again, what is a Flyer, right? What is a Philly?
Yeah, just a little wing. Yeah, I mean the Phillies.
I mean, shit, what is a 76er?
Well, Philly.
yeah,
well,
it's kind of interesting. The Eagles are the only team where it's actually a thing. You know.
Yeah.
yeah. Wait, the
Union.
76ers, you can't really make a mascot.
Well,
Well,
really
the
don't
Union's
think.
very much a thing.
Oh,
Well,
A Union.
well.
Well, they're not like.
But
I
it's
don't
a
think it's.
dragon.
I don't think it's referring to like labor unions or whatever.
Also, the mascot's a
Yeah, that's
dragon
true.
It's the-
I'm stretching it a little bit here.
Yeah,
and the Union. Okay, Union. That's fine, but their mascot's a
it's
dragon.
a cool name.
Oh, I thought he was a snake. Fang?
Oh, it's a snake.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a snake?
It's a snake
Okay,
with
that
arms and
makes-
legs.
So I guess that's
Well,
he's a
A
Isn't
real
that-
lizard.
freak of
So
nature.
technically, that makes him a lizard.
Or a newt.
Yeah, it's some kind of.
If you're a snake, you can't have legs.
It's like
Could
salamander
you imagine being a
adjacent.
mascot? They're like, our first day on the job, you gotta just slither around
That would be.
Yeah,
really
that would
funny.
be butt,
in
dude.
the heat. You got no arms or
You'd just
legs.
be rolling around on the floor.
Ass. Kids are kicking you in the head and shit.
Yeah, that'd be butt, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, good for him. He's got arms and legs. He's developed. He's evolving.
Yeah, I guess they got to the postseason though. I saw the Union.
They did.
Yeah,
I haven't been keeping up with them at all
they
this
just
year.
won 5-1.
I saw they
like
won
last-
pretty
I
big.
saw they
Yeah.
smoked
beat
New
New
York
York City.
yesterday.
That got them a seat in the
Did
postseason.
they? I have not been
Yeah.
following the Union very closely.
No, they
this
were
year,
so
to be
bad
honest.
earlier in the year. I just
Yeah.
tuned them out.
I assumed they would be terrible, but they found a place at the table with the big boys. Yeah,
Damn, so we might have a Union playoff run this year then.
definitely. Well, at least a playoff game. We'll see. But yeah, man.
Yeah, we could have a run.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, imagine we have a Union run and a Phillies run again. Like, what was that, 2022?
And this.
Well, yeah, that
What
was
was
the
that?
year where the Phillies lost the World Series and the Union lost the finals in the same
Oh,
day.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was,
I
I
The
remember
Union
that day.
final was like the most
that was terrible.
horrible. I was just like, yeah, if soccer was more popular in Philadelphia, people would have been jumping off the fucking bridge.
Yeah.
Like,
after
I,
that
Close game, too.
It was like so bad.
like the Union, as far as like the 5 sports teams for me, are definitely like a distant fifth. But watching that game, I was just,
Yeah.
I was sick to my stomach.
They had it.
Speaking of teams that had it, I guess, should we just jump into this?
Eagles filth.
Yeah.
Go right into those.
Yeah.
The birds.
Well, it's one of those games at home that, like we say, you can always guarantee a good tailgate, but you can't guarantee a good game. And that was definitely a good tailgate. See everybody back in the parking lot, have a good
back at
time.
the lots.
Jeffrey Lurie swung by.
Yeah. Tell us about that. He was just walking a lot.
He just walking around the parking lot.
Was he drinking?
I don't know. I don't think so. But he was just walking around, and we caught him in like 2 rows over. Like, oh, I think that's Jeffrey Lurie. And I was like, I don't know about that. But then his little parade came right up where our
How many
tailgate
people's
is.
in his parade?
It was
Entourage.
mostly like security that was
okay.
in, really.
Big
And, like,
Dom
a
was
couple-
there?
Nah, just like other like real security, not just like the fucking facade of security. And
Did you talk to him?
he wasn't. No, we did like an Eagles chant. He did a little Eagles chant back to us and all that.
Damn, you missed a chance to ask him how much he pays Big Dom.
Oh, damn. Yeah, you should have.
I wasn't trying to yell. You know what I mean? We were just like, oh, cool, it's cool. He's coming
That
down
would
here.
have been so funny. Just some fan comes
20
up
mil,
to you.
20 mil.
Some fan comes up to you and like the last, he's expecting you to say, something like, and then you're just like, how much do you pay Big Dom? He's like, what? Excuse me? That
But
would be
yeah,
really
it was
fun.
cool. So that was pretty much the only highlight of the day, really, because the game wasn't really.
There were
I'm
some
not-
good moments.
But there was
Namely,
some-
that 4th down stop with CJGJ.
he redeemed himself, dude.
Yeah.
Because, as soon as we don't need to talk about the whole game,
That
but
would have
this-
been like the moment of the game if they had won.
But
you
he
know?
redeemed himself for that play where they scored that touchdown.
Oh yeah, the Darnell Mooney touchdown.
Yeah, I mean
the zero blitz and our safeties can't tackle.
Yeah, like you can't zero blitz when your safeties can't tackle.
Yeah,
especially I understand. I guess we're really jumping into it, but the pass rush is anemic right now, right?
Yeah, that's kind of just making the whole defense collapse. Like, if they can't do their job, then the whole thing falls apart.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why Fangio's thinking...
You don't have to be historically great, just give
you
us...
have to just get
some
quarterback once in a while.
Put
Good
a hand
Lord.
up.
Especially Kirk Cousins is like a fucking statue back there. He's still like, nursing a hurt, recovering from an Achilles injury.
The man got 4 to 5 seconds every play to just walk around and throw the ball. Like, you're getting... I can't even... No, it's terrible. It is not a pass... We have no pass... We have 4 guys that play defensive line.
It's embarrassing.
They don't pass rush. They can't stop the fucking run.
Yeah. Their best pass rusher right now is probably Brandon Graham.
Right. Yeah, he's older than us.
Like, dude, that is not good.
They have nothing going on for them.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan Davis can't do shit. Jalen Carter is MIA. Bryce Huff can't get on the stat chart.
Thomas Booker was the best defensive lineman.
He looked all right.
I was screaming, Thomas Booker can ball. He barely made the team. He was like the 7th defensive tackle on the team. And then, you wonder why Fangio has to zero blitz. Because, he figures it's a big 3rd down. We're not getting no pressure. I'm going to send the blitz. As soon as he does that, they throw it over the blitz. And CJGJ's left there to defend, and you would think he can make that tackle, but he doesn't. He redeemed himself later in the game, which was cool, and one of the few true positives, but the defense is just so hard to watch. They can't stop the run. They're just getting gashed for 7, 8, 9 yards. Bijan's a beast. Bijan was breaking tackles and making dudes miss left and right. But even before Bijan's getting hit, they're just getting blocked. They're getting shoved out of the play. Bryce Huff looks.
They gotta call up Dominican Sue again.
Yeah,
for real.
Or who's the other guy?
Linval Joseph.
Linval Joseph.
Yeah, get those old heads back in here.
Where the hell's what's his name? You kept bringing him up. All off season, I kept saying he was washed.
Calais Campbell?
Yeah, bro, I would bring him in right now. I hate to say that.
Bring in anybody.
He's damn near 40, but he would be better than these guys.
You need to bring in some kind of senior old head leadership because the team is right now, you have, again, even Brandon Graham doing what he can. Clearly there's a disconnect between the players that are playing the game and like any kind of locker room leadership that's going down. Brandon Graham can say what he wants to say off the field, but whatever is happening on the field, you have... In my eyes right now, Nakobe Dean running the linebacker core is what they've kind of put in play.
He hasn't been that bad. He's actually been
solid. Okay, but when you have no help over the top and no help up front whatsoever, so it makes over the top no help at all, you're in between a rock and a hard place. There's nothing to do. There's no run stop. There's no pressure. I don't even need sacks. Just QB pressure would be nice. There's no pressure.
Hit him. Yeah, make him have to think about it. Make him throw it away.
Not a single ounce of pressure. You got Bryce Huff for all that to swap out. You couldn't have paid Hassan Reddick 10 more mil, so you paid Bryce Huff for 10 mil cheaper. Wasn't even on the stat chart.
Dude, he's been bad.
Couldn't even get an assist and a tackle.
And he's been useless against the run.
Nothing.
Yeah, he's been so bad.
He got blocked by a third-string tight end.
It wasn't that long ago that the run defense was one of the biggest strengths of the Eagles. Now they're literally the worst in the league at run defense.
And I'm damn near close to saying Jordan Davis is a fucking bust. What an absolute bust that is as a first-round pick.
Yeah. The thing is, as bad as the defensive line is, it's like they've invested a lot in it. Between
first round
Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. You got all these Bulldogs, and they're playing like fucking Chihuahuas out there. They got no dog in them. They're not hitting anybody. They're not making any tackles. Carter, where's he been the last 2 games?
Yeah,
last season.
I'm not worried about him.
He had maybe a couple pressures, but you want more from him.
Yeah, this is a guy that you expect to be a game
you
wrapper.
take him top 10.
You move up to get him.
My point though is that the man's going to get double teamed every game. Okay, right? You get that. I understand that. Okay, but to be in conversation,
the thing is, he wasn't really getting double teamed. To
be in conversation though of defensive rookie of the year last year, right? And coming off of a whole college season, the combine, all that. I understood all that. That's fine. He only got 5.5 sacks, whatever. I got my free bottle of whiskey. Good to go. I'm cool with that. This season, my man's out here doing nothing. And you got Jordan Davis, who was supposed to be the guy that grounds Jalen Carter. Oh, Jalen Carter's biggest issue was that he was a little hothead, this and that. Jordan Davis has no leadership in that whole 360, 70-pound body of his. Nothing. He's honestly just a waste of space on the defensive front. He's nowhere near a replacement for fucking for Fletcher Cox. Nowhere near. He doesn't light a candle next to that guy.
No,
he can't do shit. He's too overweight. He's too out of shape. He can't stop the run. He don't even know what a quarterback is because he never gets close enough to even see one. He's just a fucking waste of space. He's a waste of roster spot, to be honest. Damn. I'm over his bitch ass. He is a true bust for a first round pick.
And I remember watching him at the combine and looking like, oh, this guy's enormous and he can fucking run really fast. I'm just like, oh, this guy's just, I don't know, it's just not translating.
He can run fast in the combine, cool, but he hasn't done what has he done?
So
Nothing.
Here's the deal with him, right? Like, you would expect a guy that big, he might not be the best pass rusher. Maybe he can stop the run. Problem is, when he's on the field, they're getting destroyed in run defense too. It's not like he's even doing the one thing that you would expect someone that big to do.
Plug the hole.
Yeah, he's not plugging the hole. He's out of position.
Vince Wilfork could do both.
What teams have started doing is as soon as they see him on the field for a run play, they run the run play. They probably still get 5 to 10 yards. And then like, okay, he's on the field. Now we're just going to run hurry up and just start passing. That's what the Falcons did a couple times during that game. And they were successful. It's just, he's, like you said, he's too out of shape. He can't really rush the passer. He's kind of one-dimensional, and he's not even successful in that one dimension that you would expect him to be successful in. And as a result, like, the entire run defense suffers. Like, they're going to double-team Jalen Carter. You would think that means Jordan Davis is free. No, he ain't doing nothing. Like, I seen some film, like, where Nolan Smith was actually holding up pretty good in run defense. Pass rush is a different story. But, I mean, it doesn't matter how good Nolan Smith is on the outside. A team's going to just run up the middle, run right by Jordan Davis and get to the second level.
Right.
And that's what the Falcons were doing. They were running inside zone and outside zone so much. Like Troy Aikman kept calling it on the broadcast. He's like, oh yeah, here's another outside zone run. Here's another inside zone run. They're in the second level already in a blink of an eye. It's like, where's our big run stuffer? He's just getting pushed around. 380 pounds just getting pushed around by dudes like 50, 60 pounds lighter than time and time
there's just
and time again.
There's a straight up just lack of effort. I mean, there's been so many things on
don't
film
even get me started.
in that one game, though. Even
Dude, Bryce Huff.
Just specific, though, to Jordan Davis. Bryce Huff, okay.
Oh, he's next. We'll get to him next.
But Jordan Davis, there's plenty of opportunity where Kirk Cousins back there for 5-6 seconds, and Jordan Davis is only one man-to-man, gets shoved up a little bit in the gut and just kind of like holds back. Like, you're not on the offensive line. You got to go, like, do something. I feel like I'm poking a rock over here. It's just depressing to watch.
Yeah, it's
bad.
There's no fire. There's no energy. Well,
it's bad. And no one's calling it, and there's no accountability in-game in the huddle at all. You know what I mean? Brandon Graham could be a fun comedian. I get that.
That defense doesn't really have that personality.
You're really missing Fletcher Cox.
I'm into talking shit, but like Fletcher Cox was the one that was always pissed off.
He was the dad of the defense.
He was even trying to keep Brandon Graham in check to like do some shit. And even last year had 5.5, 6 sacks for a D tackle at his age.
He was the best defensive player on the team last year. Him and Reddick.
So like, you got a lot of young guys on there. A lot of the immaturity of this defense is showing, and you got an old defensive coordinator, which is cool. Whatever, I get that. But either the scheme right now is not clicking, or the young guys haven't caught up to speed. But there's a reason why you draft 3 Georgia guys on the defensive front within the first round / early second, because they're smart and they're ferocious and they're great at playing defense. And right now, I'm not seeing any of that from any 3 at all. Even Carter. Carter's in that boat too.
You could throw Dean's been okay.
I'm throwing them all in there.
Yeah, you could throw Dean in there too. But yeah, I mean, just hard to watch, dude. And like Bryce Huff, I guess let's get to him now too. Dude, so bad. He hasn't registered a single stat. I think he might have had like 1 assisted tackle.
Yeah,
maybe.
Like he's up on the stat sheet like twice in the first 2 games.
And that was week
combined.
1. That was just week 1. Yeah. Last week he didn't show up at all. Not even a pressure or an assisted tackle or anything. A pass, like nothing showed up at all.
Yeah, and then
at all, getting blocked by tight ends.
Yeah, the film, when you seen the film,
that used to be what you said. Oh man, how silly are them to put fucking...
when we had Hassan Reddick against George Kittle, or not even George Kittle, the backup tight end, and he injured Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson was his name.
We used to laugh at the fact that you put a tight end on the defensive end.
Now teams relish that.
Yeah, it's just week one, you say, okay, well, they had bad footing on both sides of the ball, so I get that. No big deal. They're in Brazil.
That was clearly
this week,
fake.
This defense out here, bad.
Nah, it's just anemic, dude.
Frozen on ice up here for that defensive front.
Watching
Trash.
Bryce Huff chasing Bijan, adjusting his mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Just jogging after him. I was like, dude, no, go push him out of bounds. Go do something. This isn't the time to start adjusting your mouthpiece, touching your face. Like, no.
And to be honest, too, Josh Sweat's in that same boat.
Yeah, he hasn't been great either.
He's been MIA. You got that. I mean, you kept Sweat and you traded Hassan away, and you've gotten so much worse on the end.
Yeah, I would have rather gotten rid of Sweat and never gotten Huff and just kept Reddick.
Right. Keep Brandon Graham for a year. You got Reddick here. You can deal with the middle, but you have no ends, no middle, a linebacker core that is fighting for their life right now to just try to become.
And it's not even their fault.
No.
It's because the offensive line is getting into the second level every time.
But you got Zach Bond, and you have a up and coming right now. What's it called?
Dean.
No, not even Dean. Not Nakobe Dean. He's the. Oh yeah, Nakobe Dean. Yeah,
the up and comer. Yeah.
So you expected Devin White to be here, but he's been a healthy scratch for the last 2 weeks, about.
Yeah, he must be really bad if he can't even get on the field right now.
He must be mentally fucking hurt or some shit like that. I don't know what's going on with his bitch ass. It's bad. Isaiah Rodgers hasn't been around. All these guys that were like, oh, we're healthy on the secondary. We have so many secondary players. We have linebacker depth now. We ain't got shit on defense. With the new coordinator. Nothing. It's like whatever can go wrong will go wrong. And we're lucky that we only lost by 1 or 2 points last week. Because this defense, Green Bay had some signs of hope being like, all right, bend, don't break. I'm into that.
And Green Bay was a good offense last year.
Yeah.
This Falcons offense isn't supposed to be that good.
No, but you can't stop the run. Can't get any QB pressure. Oh.
Yeah, it's just
terrible.
It's difficult. Yeah, I think I got some stats pulled up here. If we really want to belabor the point, what do I got pulled up? So this is from Fran Duffy. He did a breakdown talking about the run game. You know this? Only one team in football has allowed explosive rushes defined as 10-plus yards at a higher rate than the Eagles, who are getting gashed on over 21% of their runs allowed to this point. 1/5 of their runs are going for over 10 yards.
Yeah. I think they're averaging like 6 or 7 yards a run. Yeah, it's bad.
They are dead last and by a pretty wide margin in yards per attempt allowed on the ground. You know what that number is?
7.
I think it was 6, right?
6.3.
Yeah.
Every rushing play is going for 6.3 yards.
So you're second and
short. That's all I gotta do.
Yeah, you're in second and third, second and 4 every damn time.
Because, I remember, it was like going into the second quarter, I think, or something that neither team had converted a third down, but the Atlanta didn't fucking need to convert a third down. They didn't get the third down.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
They've allowed more rushing yards over expected than anyone. They have the third worst success rate. I mean, when it's second and short every time, teams are going to get first downs all the time. That makes sense. The second worst expected points added per play, et cetera, et cetera. No matter how you slice it, it just isn't good. That's what Fran's saying. And he watched all the film, and a lot of the film pointed to that too. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
How are you that bad at stopping the run, but also equally as incompetent at stopping the pass? Most times you have a defense... you're bad at stopping a run because you're pass rushing, you're getting a bunch of sacks. Or you're bad at stopping the pass because you're laid back in run defense and you're not getting gashed on the ground. How are you so just awful at both? And I'm not pointing the finger at Vic Fangio. If I'm pointing the finger at the personnel, it's just not performing. I look at Bryce Huff, I look at Josh Sweat.
Yeah, because you look at these plays, it's not like you can look at it and be like, oh, schematically they fucked this up, whatever. They're just losing one-on-one battles.
Right.
Over and over again.
And this team is built to, not that they're trying to win everything right now, but the team, from a roster standpoint, anybody would love to come in this situation and coach this team. You have the players, you have the mix of young and talent on the offensive side, on defensive side. I'll give them a little leeway with coordinators and whatnot, but this is the one time, though, that does fall on Sirianni where maybe this was the year to play throughout the preseason more than just rookies and guys that are trying to make the team.
Two new coordinators.
No one knows what the fuck they're doing, and that's what it looks like. You have the guys that could make the play. Either they're not in the right position or they don't quite understand what they're doing yet. And I'm hoping it's just the fact that they don't understand where they're supposed to be. Because would pray and believe that you drafted these guys because of their talent. Right now, you can't have it be both ways. You can't say it's lack of talent and bad coaching. It has to be one or the other. And right now, I think it's just the guys aren't executing the plays that they're put in position to do. And I hope 2 weeks, you had one decent team and one team that you just gave up, a loss to. And that's okay. Like, I'll take that. No big deal. Like, KC started off pretty shitty last year, too, and they still won the Super Bowl. So I'm not, whatever. But I think that they have a lot to do. I think that we're lucking out with an early bye this season. Whether or not we go, 1-4.
Well, it'd be 1-3 going into
or,
it. Yeah.
Whatever, 3-1. However it may lay, or 2-2, whatever it works out to be. I think that the early bye probably helps out more than hurts this season. Even though I thought off the top would be like, oh man, that's difficult to do.
It's really early.
But they need a fucking break. They need a recalibration here because
they need to get a goddamn
and that's just
grip.
The defensive side of the ball. The offense.
So the offense, I'm less down on. I'm not rah-rah. I love this offense because missing A.J. Brown is going to hurt a lot of your offense.
That's your best offensive player, arguably.
But at the same time, there are still some things to be concerned about. Like, where's Dallas Goedert?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you would think game without A.J. Brown, or even when A.J. was playing last week.
Right.
Dallas Goedert, he should be... He's always talked about as a top 10 tight end in the league. Yeah, I don't think he is anymore, and he hasn't really shown anything to prove it in the last calendar year,
He's
right?
like Avonte Max in that sense. He's great when he's healthy and plays.
But he's just always hurt.
And gets used.
Makes sense. They're boys. They're roommates. Yep.
I mean, like, we were talking about going back to the draft, how, like, we weren't expecting him to draft a tight end, but it was worth mentioning that, like, Dallas Goedert is now at the age that Zach Ertz was when they drafted Goddard. So, like, it's kind of getting to the point where it's time to, like, find someone to, transition into somebody else. Not that, like, I don't think Dallas Goedert is, like, washed, but it's,
he hasn't had the same impact.
Everyone has a shelf life, and
yeah,
it's getting to that point.
He hasn't had the same impact. I think that, the offense definitely runs through Hurts and A.J. Brown's connection, for sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, Saquon Barkley, take out that missed catch or whatever, he owned the... I mean, the guy...
He had a terrific game.
He had another phenomenal game.
I can't be mad at him.
Did well.
The missed catch was bad, but, like, outside of that, he had a great game.
I think that the biggest thing, too, was just having... I don't know what Hurts was seeing or whatever the game plan was, but to go to Britton Covey almost 10 times in the first half and not look at Devontae Smith at all was a crime against humanity.
It just seemed like without A.J. Brown, they didn't have any kind of backup plan to replace that, like, verticality. It was so horizontal all game.
No Jahan Dotson.
I mean,
they had nobody.
I mean, like, you're talking about, like, Britton Covey. I mean, how many times did he just throw to him in the flat for, like, 2 yards?
Right.
Dude, it was insane.
He had 6 catches for 23 yards. Less than 4 yards
They went to him more times. They went to either him or Saquon the whole first half. And
Calcaterra, which was wild.
Again, like, it's like, what are we... It was so infuriating to watch being there in person to see, like, okay, we got Jahan Dotson for a reason, We got Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. We're like, all right, like, okay, you lose A.J. Brown, you still have an offense that people would love to have, and you didn't use any of the weapons at all at your disposal. All this motion, all this, new age offensive coordinator type shit he's supposed to bring here, Kellen Moore, and your best 2 options are a backup tight end and fucking Britton Covey? That was our offense in the first half?
Yeah.
It was so infuriating to just watch in person, to know what they were going to do, and they were just avoiding going to your premier players.
Yeah, it was just... I mean, I think some of it is probably, like, when did AJ get scratched? Saturday? Right, for a Monday game. So they didn't have a whole lot of time to adjust the game plan, but still, I mean...
But you're not thinking ahead about that, though?
You could have also gone to, some of what worked in 2020... When was 2021? I mean, that offense still had a lot of good games when it was just Hurts thrown to Devontae.
Right.
And the second half, they did go to that. But it's like, what took so long? The first half, it was just...
Or run the ball and use your tight ends. And if you're worried about throwing over the top, because they got Justin Simmons now, whoever else they got back there, like, then just
Jesse Bates, yeah. Then there's 2 good safeties, for sure.
Then just use Dallas Goedert. He's healthy. That's what you claim to fame. He's a top 5, sometimes they say, top 10 tight end. But you don't use him until the second half when you're already kind of...
You've let them hang around for too goddamn long, yeah.
It's just bad. And the one weird stat, too, is that, like, Saquon has never won in the Link when he was with the Giants. He lost every game in the Link, and he has yet to win now still as an Eagle.
Oh, that is bad. I didn't know that.
I mean,
That's some bad juju right there. He's never won in the Link.
That's why he dropped that ball. The football gods, dude.
Yeah.
Perfect pass.
Yep, we're preserving the streak.
Perfect pass. Hit him right in the hands.
Yeah, so I guess should we talk about the end of the game?
Nah, we got to talk about Hurts as a runner real quick.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was
you
good.
called that, dude. You called that.
Yeah.
You're all over that.
Mm-hmm.
You said straight up, yeah, he's more of a power runner north to south. And then first few snaps of the game, first few Hurts running plays, they're running this east-west nonsense. And I'm sitting there in the chat saying, yeah, they got to get away from this. Like, run more QB draws and scrambles, like more like QB power. And then they switched up the game plan where it's QB draws or Hurts is jashing them on scrambles. And the thing is, man, he's just not fast enough to outrun corners and linebackers to the edge. Like linebackers are running 4.40s anymore.
He's not quick, he's
Hurts
fast.
is like a 4.6.
Yeah.
So the linebacker's going to beat him to the edge. But if he gets momentum, 4.6, he's going to be able to run by the D-line, run by the linebackers, and he's to the second level. He can truck cornerbacks and safeties.
He's not quick, he's fast.
Yeah, and he's strong.
He's not shifty.
Yeah.
He's like a Brian Westbrook compared to LaShawn McCoy. He'll run. He can run fast. He can outrun most guys on the defense.
It's almost more like a Deuce Staley.
I don't even know if he's fast. So now we're talking real thick.
Yeah, I mean Hurts is pretty squatty though.
Yeah, but he can run though. He
True. Yeah, Deuce
like
was all power.
If
That's
he's
true.
untouched, just like Westbrook was. I mean, not that in the same sense that we running back, but yeah, to Trevor's point, like he is a north and south runner. He's not a I'm gonna go put the juke. Cause I don't think he trusts his. I mean, after having that leg injury, he ain't gonna be doing them crazy ass Lamar Jackson fucking cutbacks anymore.
He did a couple his first couple years, which was fun.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah,
but so did McNabb, and look
he's
at what he
banged up
ended up
now,
doing. Yeah.
But no, he's also looked mobile within the pocket. There were definitely some plays where he's rolling out to his right, and I'm used to Hurts just saying, fuck it, I'm just going to take it and run. But he looked up at the last minute, like scramble drill, and hit Devontae a couple times really nicely.
Yeah. He's also been good against the blitz.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
Yeah, and like I didn't look up the stats this time for his numbers against the blitz or when they ran motion, but it felt pretty good. I mean, he was efficient until that last interception.
Outside that last play, I thought he had a really good game. Given like not having AJ Brown and everything else, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, that interception was egregious.
Yeah.
Like, what do y'all make of that play? What was the stadium thinking? What's going on in the stadium when that happened?
That kind of sucked the life out of the place. I'm not gonna lie, but I think that it's just a head scratcher kind of moment. I mean, also having him do that last week as well, like it wasn't surprising. He's trying to force a play that isn't there. And I understand, like, if it's fourth, I understand the mindset of trying to make something happen. But, like, there's other options.
I mean, I feel like that's a ball you throw when it's, like, fourth down. You need 15 yards to, like, extend the game or whatever. But if that happened, we basically needed, like, 15 yards. That's it. Kind of to get in, like, to give Jake Elliott a chance.
Elliott's got a boot.
I mean, I still had one timeout.
Right.
Yeah.
You're trying to be the hero there, which is fine. I get that hero ball, but like it's not fourth quarter.
I guess he did have he had a guy coming on him. He wasn't in a position to throw it away. That would have been grounding, I think, if he had done that. I mean, yeah, he's definitely in a tough spot there, but I don't know. You have to have a little more awareness and not just throw it into like.
I mean, Devontae was close enough to the sideline, dude. He could have just chucked it towards the sideline. Yeah. He might not get called. It's risky, but he might not get called grounding there.
Yeah.
And even if he does get called grounding, you have a timeout. Instead of having the 10-second runoff, just call timeout. The last thing you can do there is throw a pick.
Right.
The absolute last thing.
I mean, I'm not worried about his picks right now in the season. I think that a lot of them have come under, whether he's under pressure or, trying to make a moment out of nothing. I don't know. I just think we can't get to the bye fast enough, honestly. I think this team needs to just survive this little bit of a NFC South kind of run-through real quick where you got the Saints and you got a tough Tampa Bay team that gives us trouble.
Good. Who would have thought?
You get to the bye, you survive to the bye, you go 2-2. We should be happy to take that. But I don't know, man. I think I'm not out on Hurts. I think Hurts will be all right. I think he'll get AJ Brown back. at the same time,
he's the least of our concerns with that game.
I think that Hurts has been honestly looking better than he did last season. I think last season,
I think so. Yeah,
he looked a little hesitant to run or hesitant to do anything and throw. I think now he's confident in his legs. Like he's not physically inept to do anything to make a difference in the game.
No, I'm largely encouraged by his performance.
I also think that we need players that are smarter to actually like help him out. Like that year they went to Super Bowl with Wentz, you had Torrey Smith where he would run his route and then if it was dead and he'd run around back there, he'd make it find a gap. Like what Kelsey does.
Yeah.
Travis, he'll run his little route.
I mean, Devontae was doing that last game, and AJ does that too.
Yeah, but Hurts didn't want to find him. But, other players that are secondary role players, like if Jahan Dotson was a guy that just went to, it's 3rd and 3, and your route is a post route, you're going deep, whatever. But if you got 10 yards ahead of you, just turn around, get the first down.
Yeah,
that's all we need.
Find the hole in the zone. Yeah,
we just see guys that play smart across the board, and right now they just all seem kind of disheveled in what they're doing on both sides of the ball.
Wrong. Yeah.
So I think they have plenty of time to fix it up. I think there's definitely some room for not panic but concern. But I think most of the concern, honestly, and I'll lead to this now, pivot-wise, if we're ready for it.
Yeah, we can jump into
this. It's the Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
I think it's the head coaching and the game and game management and player management, are his only really 2 roles now. And I think that he's kind of giving his team no wiggle room to fucking do anything.
No, I mean, he put them in position to lose that game.
Yeah.
So many opportunities, right? Like the first half decision to go for it instead of taking the points.
I'm not going to kill him for that.
I felt like that was defensible.
I think it was the right decision, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not mad about that.
But the problem is, like, if you're going to be aggressive there, you have to be aggressive all the time.
That's the thing, yeah. And he's just so inconsistent.
Because, like, the whole idea behind, like, being aggressive on 4th down and, making the calculations and all that is that in the aggregate, it'll like benefit you and you'll end up on top. But like you have to be consistent with that. You can't just be like, oh, this didn't work out in the first half, so I'm gonna like be more conservative now. Like no, that doesn't work. That doesn't make sense. So like you have to, if you're gonna be aggressive and go for it on 4th down when it makes mathematical sense and this and that, you have to do it all the time. Yeah,
and like who was really good at that? Big Dick Nick. Who retired that day and who was in the stadium?
Yeah.
Big Dick Nick. That he was probably thinking,
I got a big dick.
Sirianni's like 2 inches.
Well, I think that too, that like the stadium did appreciate, I mean, even when they went first half, 4th and 5 or whatever, it was not super close and they went for it and they got it. I'll take that. 4th quarter, that drive, opposite end of the field for us, that play was, Saquon drops the ball. I think we all still in our mind.
That was the opposite end?
Yeah. Even in our mind, we were like, all right, well, they're going to go for it here. Like, we still have a chance here. Once we saw Jake come out, the whole place started booing. I mean, the stadium was, the second half, maybe the 4th quarter, I should say, was not on the Birds side at all. There was way more boos than cheering going down.
Yeah.
We were not happy at all. I mean, everything they seemingly did was just stupid game management.
Yeah.
You had 3 timeouts left. They had no more timeouts. They used up all their timeouts. You did what you wanted to do. 3rd and 3, 3rd and whatever it was. Okay, fine. The pass didn't work out. I'll take that. Fine. But, go for it on 4th down then. 3 points, you're up by 6. You weren't stopping them that whole second half anyway. Yeah. So they score a touchdown, you're down by 1, and you're going to have, as they did, 40 seconds left.
I mean, it was a bad decision on multiple levels to not go for it on 4th down there because like one, at the end of the day, whether it's 3rd down or 4th down, it's the same situation is you need 3 yards to end the game.
Yeah.
You go for that every single time.
If there's any situation,
you went for it in the first half.
If there's any situation in which you need 3 yards to win the game, you're fucking going for it.
Right.
Like I don't care what the situation is, you're going for that every single time. And then the like going up by 6 there, as like some people have pointed out, I know like Shil Kapadia had a good breakdown of this. That's like that is actually worse than being up by 3.
Yep.
Right.
Because you're forcing the other team to be aggressive. You're forcing them to throw the ball out, go for it on 4th down.
Their adrenaline's up. They're
looking
like they got
the way
a chance.
that we've seen this defense perform, like that's not good. And like historically, what's been shown is if you're only up by 3 there, the other team's more likely to play conservative and go for the tie, go for
Which
the field
they
goal.
definitely would have. They're
Which
on
they
the
probably would
road,
have,
like
yes.
they're an underdog. They're definitely going for that.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just such a deflating thing to watch happen because you're like, all right, you've been aggressive all entire game when it comes down to 3rd and short, 4th and whatever. You're in the goal, you're in the red zone. You got Saquon who's been running about 4 yards per carry. Like he's been running all over this team. Okay, fine. 4th and 3. I don't give a shit. Worst case scenario, he only gets 2 yards. Now they're at their own, 12, 13 yard line?
Even not. I think they would have been at like their own 4.
No, because we had a first down still to get.
But
So
the
they had at
first
least
down
5.
was
Would have been
short,
like
though.
the 10 or something.
Yeah,
like
it would have
that.
been. It would have still been in
They
the
would have
double
been
digits.
buried
Would have
instead
had
of getting it at
far-
the 30.
But
More
I
to
mean,
go,
it would have only
yeah.
been 20 more yards. But it would have felt better knowing that you could.
Which again would make them much more likely to
you
go for
would've
the field goal.
used- then you
Right.
would have
They would
ran
not
time.
be going for a touchdown there.
They would have ran time, right? So, like,
Yeah.
my thing is, right, I said this when we were chilling out on the stoop before this. So the problem with all of this is that I don't think there was any communication between Sirianni and Kellen Moore, right? So, yeah, 3rd down, they pass the ball. It falls incomplete. That stops the clock. Then we kick the field goal. So Sirianni's first mistake is that he kicked the field goal. His second mistake is that he wasn't communicative with Kellen Moore, right? So if he decides, okay, if it gets to 4th down, I'm just going for it, then he can communicate. Communicate. I'm so worked up over this. Can't even talk. He can communicate to Kellen Moore, like, hey, listen, man, we're going for it on 4th down. So this 3rd down play, run it. And if you don't get it, that's fine. We'll let 40 clocks or 40. I'm so worked up.
40 clocks.
40 seconds. 40 seconds.
40 then TikToks go down.
40 seconds run off the clock. And then once those 40 seconds run off the clock, then we're going to pass it and we'll run the same play and hopefully Saquon catches the ball. And that's game over. But the problem is I don't think he knew in his mind he was going to go for it. And he didn't communicate anything to Kellen Moore. So Kellen Moore's sitting there on 3rd down like, all right, this is it. We're going to try and get this. We don't. Then we kick a field goal. So 4th and 3, right? You kick the field goal. You still have a 90.2% chance to win, which obviously they lost. They've botched it legendarily. But if you go for it, whether you get it or not, you have a 95% chance of winning.
That's what I'm saying. My point, though, is that having someone backed up in their own red zone, as opposed to at the 30-yard line, which I think they got to when they started their drive after that kickoff, was just a hope because they get to go back, get that little moment. Defense gets to reset a little bit because they're like, kickoff team goes up there. There's a little bit of lull because it's Monday Night Football. You get a 2-minute clock going, all that stuff. There's a lot more time in prime time games going off like that. Where had you just gone for it on 4th down and just turned it over, essentially, you'd have been a lot in better spot that way. And it's infuriating to watch it go down. I mean, Saquon catches that ball. We're not talking about this as we're saying it's an ugly win.
Oh, for sure.
They have a lot more room to clean up.
We're talking about how great of a play call.
Yeah, we're like,
was.
Saquon's still the man. He's the best pickup we ever had, this and that. Now that he drops it, we're like, oh my God, I don't know if Hurts has it. I don't know if Saquon's the man. I don't know if Sirianni's okay. It's just, I think that it was an ugly loss as opposed to an ugly win, which we will own, and that's okay. I think that they have a chance to potentially, we could nitpick every single thing that happened wrong on this team. I think that if they come into this week's game, though, and at least put up a fight and not get 45 put up on them and lose, maybe they lose 27-21, 27-24, I'll even feel okay about that. Knowing that a defense or an offense for the Saints that's been putting up 40-plus points a game, second in the history of football in terms of points in the first 2 weeks, 92 points they've put up. So I'm okay with taking a subtle loss. But I think that this team has a lot to work on, but it's not a total panic mode yet. You're 1 or 2 plays away from, you get 1 sack, 1 extra sack in the 4th quarter,
well,
you win that game.
They could have gotten any sacks.
One
Milton
extra
Williams
catch,
got one
extra catch in the 4th quarter, you win that game. There's so many little things that they're right there, and they're close, they're building, but we can't all totally turn on the whole entire team.
Oh, I'm not turning.
No, I mean, but the sense is definitely there. The vibes are not well.
Yeah, I mean, it could spiral out of control, and we're sitting here mid-season with a new head coach.
Right.
It could get pretty grotesque. But are we shifting towards this week's game?
I think so. I think, I don't think we need to keep harping on. We don't understand that it was a shitty-ass game and they lost and defeating. I think even the Eagle they let loose, I think, jumped off 95 and got hit by a tractor trailer, too. So it is what it is.
Fair enough.
But now we got the Saints coming up. Hottest team in the NFL, some could say.
Dude, they are averaging 45.5 points a game. Which, I mean, it's 2 games, and one of them's against Carolina, so how much does it really count? Giving up 14.5 points a game, again, with the obvious caveat that one of the games against Carolina.
Yeah, but Dallas at home, though? 16-game regular season win streak I think, with that defense?
I think
Dallas. I'm just saying. That's not you didn't just smoke. You didn't go from beating Carolina to then shellacking Pittsburgh. Not for nothing. No. Dallas in the first 5 games of the season is usually a very stout defense.
I don't know, man. I'm not here to give Dallas their flowers by any means, but at the same time, Dallas is a good team. I also think that New Orleans just called a wave that game, right? Like, we've seen Dallas get down at home before against the Packers in the playoffs, and they got smoked.
That's playoff Dallas football. I think that also too the Saints are in the benefit of. They're in their second year of Derek Carr. The team is established. They didn't really change a whole lot.
Dallas has a bunch of player movement.
Yeah. And Kamara's healthy. He's not coming off an injury
he looked great.
Or a weird whatever he had, a couple suspension or whatever. Yeah. But I think that the team is, they got Olave. Team looks good.
They got my guy Rashid Shaheed.
I
always struggle to say that name. Rashid Shaheed.
I just don't know, though, after going up against a suspect offensive line of Atlanta and Bijan, who is a stud running back, right? And Kirk Cousins as a quarterback who's, okay, whatever. No real receiving core in Atlanta. You got Kyle Pitts. Other than that, they didn't really have anybody. Yeah. I had Ray fucking McLeod out there.
Oh, I started him in the league too.
And he still did pretty okay until we had that thing where he pulled out CJGJ's punch him in the head. But you got this defense that couldn't stop that offense. Now you have this Eagles defense going up against a healthy Alvin Kamara, right? You got Olave. Yeah, you have a very good offensive line who's at home now after their team is coming home from 2 away games, putting up 45 points a game in New Orleans, which is a historically loud and rambunctious crew. It's going to be fucking bucking there.
It is.
And God forbid they fucking retire Drew Brees that day. It's going to be
is that supposed to happen?
I don't know, but I'm just saying. You never know. Or they bring out the little man with the chair and all that shit for whatever.
They're going to bring out those guys.
Oh, that guy with the, what do you call it?
Yeah. I mean,
well, shout out to him, Steve Gleason. I think his name is.
Yeah, he's still kicking, but
good for him.
God forbid you bring out some local hero or some, Saints hero. You're fucked. There's no way we come back from that.
You're gonna bring out those guys. You ever see the videos of those 2 Cajun guys who they have the cooking videos where they're outside and they have that huge flat top grill.
Does it have oil in it
and they're
too?
Just making. Yeah, I mean, it's just a big, the type of thing that people are making cheesesteaks on or whatever. But it's just and they're just rattling off 100 ingredients. It's just two pounds of cube alligator.
5 pounds of cube alligator?
5 sticks of butter. 2 couple pounds of macaroni. Hit it with the W sauce. New Orleans,
I want to hang out with them.
Louisiana hot sauce.
Fried onions. Let me get some of that smack your mama sauce.
If those guys are at the game, they deserve to win. We deserve to lose.
We're about to get shellacked. I'm not gonna lie. I think
cream.
I think this is gonna be a very ugly game for the Birds.
Are you calling 48-7
I'm
the game
calling
you
at
were
least
at?
probably 38. I think it's gonna be a very bad. They've given me no reason to believe that this defense can stop Alvin Kamara and Olave after playing. Really, I mean, Green Bay was good. That was a close test, and they looked decent there. But having been in that stadium, if Hurts lost his voice at home, I don't see.
Well, they're gonna have to go to a silent count for that game.
I don't see how they're court. There's definitely going to be at least one fumble from the center for sure. Yeah. It's going to be a bad game. I'm calling it right now. Probably the worst game of the season coming up this week.
All right.
I'm talking 38 to probably 17.
Damn. Well.
2 pounds of live squids.
I'm calling it right now. And shout out Mom and Dad. I know you guys are going down there. I hope you guys have a great time. But I don't see a way in which I don't see any way unless we win this game. Unless Derek Carr gets hit by a fucking swamp boat on the way to the game or some shit like that. Or get some bad voodoo weird shit going on.
3 cups of grated Parmesan now.
I don't see it.
Damn, I could go for some Creole food.
Me too. I miss it down there.
But anyway.
Some catfish fingers. You ever have
And
like
a bucket
chicken
of
finger versus
spiders.
catfish?
Spiders? They eat spiders?
No, I just make
Yo,
shit
some
up.
Cajun spiders might be alright. You
Maybe.
fry them, they might be a little crunchy.
They gotta have some. You gotta get like tarantulas.
You ever
though.
ate cricket?
No.
That's a thing, right? Isn't that a delicacy in some places?
Yeah, there's also like cricket like powder is a thing in a lot of
Why
things.
would you eat cricket
I
powder?
don't know. It's like a protein.
Yeah, I've ate a cricket before.
I would rather just eat like fried crickets.
2 buckets of crickets now.
Frog legs.
Throw them
Catfish.
crickets in
Yeah,
there.
I do like a frog leg.
Put
yo.
them crickets in live.
Yo, etouffee is
Etouffee.
banging.
Come on now.
Yo, I love etouffee. When I was in New Orleans, I had some shrimp etouffee on company money. Ooh, it was banging.
Etouffee is so good. Oysters, crawfish.
Yeah,
Crawdads.
Oh man.
Them
Cornbread.
crawdads.
You're talking-
the fried chicken, the gumbo, the
Oh,
jambalaya.
Oh yeah, dude.
New Orleans is a great city.
Mhm.
We talk about New
Po'
Orleans a lot.
boys.
Yeah, I love a po' boy.
Oh, yeah, I had one of
what's
those when
the
I was-
sandwich called? The
Them
muffaletta?
catfish. No,
Muffaletta.
Muffaletta?
Mm-hmm.
You had a muffaletta?
I don't think I did.
It's like kind of like a hoagie, but on a circular roll.
Yeah.
It's like the New Orleans version of a hoagie. You got
And you can
olives
just walk
on
around
there
and drink
whatnot.
wherever you want.
Yeah, you can go into a bar,
They
get a
got the
beer,
little to-go cups on the way
yep,
out.
pour it into a cup. You can just walk to
You're
the next
good as
bar,
gold.
Mhm.
and every bar has bands playing.
Shrimp.
Even the buskers are banging, dude. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
buskers are just like playing great
They're
music
just out
on the
there all
streets.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
New
it down
Orleans
there.
rules.
It's very European like. Yeah,
We'll
we gotta
be back.
record. We gotta record a pod from New Orleans.
You should
Yeah.
come down next time we go down. We had a great house last time. Great food.
Don't tempt me with a good time, damn.
We should. It was awesome. And it's a
Yeah.
short flight too.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah, someday when all my friends are done getting married, I will have vacation time to go joyriding down in
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Go hang out with them Cajuns.
But yeah, y'all need to stop getting married, Dean and Adam. But anyway, where are we?
Yeah.
So yeah, with this game, I could see a path to the Eagles winning this game.
Let
dude.
me hear this path. You keep saying this shit.
So here's the deal. So the Eagles played the Saints in 2020, Hurts' first start.
Mm-hmm.
Saints were the best rushing defense in the league. Eagles ran for 250 yards and blew them out, kind of, if you remember that game,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then the following year, same thing. Saints come in with the number one rushing defense in the league. The Eagles come in with a high-powered rushing offense. Hurts has that. I think he had 3 rushing touchdowns that game. He had that one where he juked Cam Jordan
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
his shoes
Yep.
and cut back across the field for like 25 yards. And that was without Saquon. So, not saying the Eagles are going to win this game, but their path to winning this game looks a lot like that, right? The Saints offense is high-powered. And you don't like to play football like this in 2024 without A.J. Brown. The Eagles aren't beating anyone in a shootout, let's be honest here. So, their path to winning this game is controlling the clock, which they did against Atlanta. The Eagles won the time of possession
Yeah.
battle. Just that last drive just erased any good that they had. So, New Orleans right now has a good rushing defense. They played Carolina. Who are their running backs?
Right.
Like, Jonathan Brooks is hurt.
You got Chuba Hubbard
talking
and you got
Miles
Miles Sanders,
Sanders.
and then you got Ezekiel Elliott and fucking
Right.
Rico Dowdle.
Rico
So-
Dow. Yeah, and yeah.
Where I said last week the Eagles had to make sure that they got up, they kind of need to do that again here, where they make sure that they keep it close enough that they can control the clock and run the ball. I mean, you start running the ball a little bit, get Saquon going. That's when you start running some play actions. Some of the RPOs are maybe a little more effective if you can avoid these illegal demand downfield penalties.
Mhm.
So that's kind of their path to winning the game, is dominating time of possession and rushing for 200 yards. Can they do it? Yes. Will they do it? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I do not see them winning this game,
I
but
think-
that's their path to it.
I think in a more simplistic way to put it is that it comes down to the coin toss. I think that if the Saints win the coin toss and they defer, if our offense is out first, they will not get into a gel of rhythm. That defense is going to be all over this offense. We'll have to punt the ball. Saints will most likely score on their first drive, probably over the top, some deep pass to somebody, or Kamara doing some crazy shit. That place will be bumping. We'll get the ball back. We'll try to run the ball to assert dominance that way. It'll be too loud. There'll be a fumble. I think it's gonna be a miserable game to watch, to be honest with you. Unless we win the coin toss. If we win the coin toss,
Well, if we win the
and
coin
can
toss,
defer?
we're gonna defer.
and then maybe we'll be in a better spot where the defense can establish itself. Maybe we force a field goal or make them punt. I'll take that. I'm fine with that. But if we get the ball first, it's over. It's over before it even starts.
all
To be honest, that's the way that they've been playing so far this season has not given me any confidence that the defense can make a stop or that the offense can start off hot. So I'd rather
those are valid points.
I'd rather take our defense against New Orleans at home than our offense against New Orleans defense in New Orleans. Like that's just a fucked up situation to
that's
put them
valid.
in.
And like I
It
said,
comes down to the coin toss. I'm telling you
I
right
don't
now.
think we're gonna win. Like, you want to know what I have for this? So the line is surprisingly only Saints -3, which is wild, especially if AJ Brown isn't playing. For it to be Saints -3,
He's not playing.
So it should really be Saints -6 if he's not playing, and even that's generous.
Yeah.
I have this going as Saints 35, Eagles 20.
38-17.
Yeah, we're gonna lose, dude. And then people are really gonna be pissed at Sirianni. What you got?
Yeah. I don't know. Probably something like 30, 38, 27.
Damn, you got to score. I guess that's probably a garbage time TD at the end.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, you gotta worry about those Cajun guys. We're,
They got the bands up in the section too.
They're gonna be like, we're bringing back Bounty Gate now.
Yeah.
We're bringing back Bounty Gate.
Yo, can they put a bounty on Sirianni?
Yeah,
please,
we're bringing back
please,
Now
please.
Big Dom in there.
We're bringing back Bounty
True.
Gate. We're to pay tribute to our Lord and Savior, Mr. Sean Payton.
He was
We,
flying up there in fucking Colorado.
We're gonna be shedding so much of them Eagles' blood that the field gonna be done looking like a big hot and spicy Louisiana gumbo.
Damn, I love gumbo.
Yeah, gumbo's
yeah,
banging.
dude.
You missed out on the gumbo I made.
It was good gumbo.
Yeah, gumbo's live.
To go
dude.
back to get some etouffee.
We're like, we're gonna be sending one of our big boys out to hit Mr. Jalen in his head. We're gonna be hitting him in his head so hard that his dumb brain gonna be skittering around in his skull, just like the Crawdads be skittering on down the bayou.
Your Creole accents are funny as hell.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, they are so funny.
Yeah.
But,
It's nuts. But yeah, man, that's all I got for the
Is
birds.
that all we have?
I hope so.
We have been talking about them for about an hour now.
Good God. Well, they deserved that vitriol.
I mean, yeah.
All right, let's
If they
move.
keep playing bad, it's gonna be too much to talk about. But
Should we hit the Phillies real quick? Not
Phils.
too much to say about them.
Yeah,
They
let's go
lost
this real quick.
10-6.
Oh, they did lose?
Yeah, they lost 10-6 to the Mets. Magic number still sits at 4. But hey, man, I'm still feeling pretty good. You know what? They coming into today, they had a 1-game lead on the Dodgers and a 3-game lead on the Brewers. But because we have the tiebreaker against both those teams, that's technically a 2-game lead and a 4-game lead. The Dodgers won today, we lost, so we're even in the loss column, but we still got the tiebreaker. Shohei,
Yeah,
that
the 50
line's
and
crazy,
50.
dude. He went 6 for 6 with 3 homers and 10 10 RBIs.
And probably 2 stolen bases.
I think, yeah.
Well, maybe not because he hit so many
I
home
forget.
runs. But
I
yeah,
don't know.
he's just a monster, I think. He's just an absolute machine. Great addition to the game, to be honest. I think that it's fucked up that he's with the Dodgers because that just is annoying as shit that way. But, I mean, the fact that he can just be DH and just fucking hit dingers all day.
Yeah, and steal bases,
He
too.
ain't got to pitch. I mean, next
Yeah.
year he comes back. If he pitches again, that's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, he's going to be the first pitcher to have a 50-50 season and also lead the league in,
He
ERA.
may have though, if he pitches up, maybe he'll have a 40 and 30 and 30. Even
Yeah,
still,
he'll have to take it easy because he's pitching.
he could win. He could easily win a Cy Young and still be considered one of
He
the
could
best
win a
hitters
Cy
of the
Young,
season.
an MVP, a Silver Slugger,
Yeah,
all of that.
win the home run derby.
Yeah, all of it. But hey, we're not a Dodgers podcast, but we do appreciate greatness on this pod. We do.
Shohei, shout out to you, man. But fuck the Dodgers. Phillies.
You're going to beat your ass in the playoffs.
I don't know, man. Phillies are getting me.
You're getting nervous again?
Again, I don't get nervous. I just get concerned. That's all. You know
You
what I mean?
get nervous.
No. I get nervous. A little concerning. That's all. You had a chance to seal your deal just to get into the playoffs in Milwaukee, and you gave it up in a shitty fashion. Then you go to New York, tough series ahead here. I'll take a 10-6 loss as what happened last time we started with the Mets. So maybe, they pull it off. But in my mind, again, still against the Mets, they have a lot more to fight for than we do. They're like trying to crawl into the playoffs. We just need 1 or 2 more games.
Yeah.
That's never a fun position to be in when you're in playoff contention. Like, you want to be the guy that's chasing that last seed as opposed to a guy fighting off teams to get your spot.
I mean, the Phillies are still fighting for, like, the
I'll
1
take
seed.
that.
They're still fighting.
No,
They're not fighting as hard.
It's true. I'll take that. I think the offense did today. I think the offense did as much as they could. Baseball, to put up another 10-run game 3 games in a row is ridiculous at home. But I think that the Phillies did enough to win the game offensively. I think their pitching probably let them down. But, I think
Taijuan Walker, boy.
is going to be – he will be the one that makes us not win the World Series.
Well, hopefully he doesn't see any time in the
he's not going to pitch
postseason.
an inning in the postseason.
If he sees any time in the postseason,
then we probably have bigger problems.
Oh God,
I'm just saying,
we're done, dude.
Weird
cooked.
things have happened.
Yeah,
he didn't see time in the postseason last year. There's no way he sees time in the postseason this year. But I mean, he's kind of an issue right now because they need to win games to,
And
clinch
give guys rest.
the NL East, and then hopefully clinch the number 1 seed. But if we still have, how many games are left? 9?
I think 8 after tonight.
8. So we still have to see his ass pitch one more time, probably.
Probably, yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, man.
That's a problem.
It's not easy.
I mean, we got the Mets for 3, the Cubs who have been playing better and are like still sort of fighting for a wild card. Then we get to close out against the Nationals, which will be nice, but we got to get there first.
The positive thing in the last couple of games is that Harper's power is back, which is good to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The offense as a whole has been hitting pretty consistently, which is also good to see.
Yeah, Trey hit that dinger of the night.
Yep, JT got that thing started in the bottom of the 7th, I think it was.
Yeah,
or top of the 7th. So, the bats, that's the more thing you want to look at coming into the postseason is that can your bats hit the ball, and do shit like that. Walker, maybe I misspoke a little bit that way, but I think that, they just need to. I hate when things come down to like you need 1 more win to get in the postseason or like 4 more to clinch the division.
Yeah.
Just focus on what's ahead of you right now. Win the games right there. You had the game last night in the bag, essentially close as it was, but to load the bases up and whatever, like that was just fucked up. But it's we're in the postseason now, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, every game matters as you're trying to clinch.
This month. Yeah,
it's just a matter of where they end up in the seeding and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, I mean, we're playing a playoff team in the Mets, and like the Cubs are a borderline playoff team, right? So, yeah, we're kind of playing playoff games against playoff teams, and it would be nice to just put it to bed, right? Split with the Mets, and you win the division. I guess that race with the Dodgers is probably going to come down to the last couple games of the year, and their schedule.
Well, the way Shohei, no one's hotter right now in baseball than Shohei Ohtani. I mean, that's just
their schedule's a lot easier than ours too. So we may not end up getting the 1 seed, but we're still looking good for a first round bye, up 3 games on the Brewers.
I'll take coming to the postseason as not the first seed. I'm okay with that. Let's just get cover your bases.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
As long as we get that bye.
Yeah, do your shit. Call it a day. Give the guys a break a little bit. I don't need to see them getting all buck and party the whole time, too, for every fucking win. Once they do get
that. I hope when they clinch the playoff spot, they don't party at all. Even when they clinch the NL East, I don't really want to see them party. Once they clinch the bye, then you can party.
I think Topper did say, though, that, like, if you get in the postseason, we're not partying. We'll have, like, champagne, like a little toast to just respect that, we did do something. But he will let them let loose if they win. They haven't won the division since he was here.
You still need to win the 1 seed.
They're gonna get a buck when they win the division. There's no 2 ways around it.
Yeah,
they're gonna do that.
I mean, fair enough. 13 years is a long time.
Get to see
you put all that money in this fucking
Garrett
team.
Stubbs hungover game.
Yeah, fair enough. That would be cool.
Did he hit that home run that year though?
Yeah,
He's all
I think we potted that day. Yeah.
So let them get in the postseason, win the division, get buck, take a little break. We'll be all right in the postseason.
Dancing on My Own's out.
I hope so.
I'm pretty sure they said it's officially out this year.
I hope they have been keeping that.
We never won when it was the song anyway.
They've been keeping it close to the vest, but I also heard that it isn't fully out though.
I'm not.
It better not be the song.
I think it.
In 2 years, with it as the song, did we win the World Series?
I have been out on that.
Hell no. You know why Dreams and Nightmares is still the song in Philly? because we won the Super Bowl that year.
I think
Meek Mill might be implicated in that P. Diddy shit.
No.
Oh, for real?
Maybe.
What do you mean?
We don't know yet,
Oh,
but it's just...
Well,
what are you
everyone
saying?
might be implicated.
There's all kinds of... Jay-Z might...
Yeah.
Right,
It's like
Beyonce.
everyone's been...
It's like
Usher.
that Weinstein shit again.
Dude,
Usher.
remember what Cat Williams said? That everything, the truth will be revealed.
That is true. Cat Williams never tells a lie.
Yeah,
yo.
man.
That's true.
He came out and
who
chose
knows?
violence. He's
Who
a
knows how many
soothsayer,
people's
dude.
going to come
He's
down?
seen this coming.
Yeah.
In
Usher,
January, he's
Kevin
seen
Hart.
this
Who
coming.
knows?
Kevin Hart did like a recording in his house one time. He said, "Are you hearing what the fuck he's saying right now?"
Yo.
But anyway,
I knew
not to
Usher when he
derail
was
things.
11 years old. He was like, "You were 18. What the fuck?"
Yeah, I really hope Meek Mill is not.
You saw all them bottles of baby
1,000 bottles of baby oil?
stashed around
the
the
hell
house,
is- what?
not just in like the cupboard somewhere. It was like scattered around the house. 1,000 bottles of
What
baby
the-
oil around the house.
Yeah.
My man was having some crazy parties.
That
God
shit is
damn.
weird.
What the hell?
I don't even own baby oil.
I heard something too about how like that they're saying that like P. Diddy may have been implicated in like the assassination of Tupac, and they might reopen that. Or
Well,
something.
that's been known
That's
that he
been-
was involved.
That's been yeah, but maybe there's like some more.
Get his ass.
Yeah, dude.
Well, he wants that.
Well, yeah, that is true. Not like that. Don't get
That's
his
why
ass
he's got
like
that
that.
baby oil.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's... Damn, yeah, think of all the people that could be implicated that. Meek, Jay-Z,
Yeah.
Beyonce. Who else we got?
Usher.
Yeah, Usher.
He's been hanging out with him for a minute. You saw the thing when he was on the radio show
Nelly,
with Charlamagne?
probably.
Leonard
yeah.
Fournette.
You saw when he was on with
Yeah.
Charlamagne? He said,
James Harden.
Ooh,
damn.
dude. What if
You know, there was probably Ruben.
yeah,
Ruben's probably in there.
yeah.
I hope it's like, I don't hope anyone's involved in this, but if anyone that I hope is,
There
hope
definitely
Ruben
people
goes
involved.
down, dude. I'm over
then
it.
maybe finally Fanatics goes under.
Yeah, we can get some
Damn.
legit
Get some
sports merch in
Good
our life.
jerseys back.
That would be the one good thing to come out. Well, two good things. You get Diddy's murderous, or not murderous, but rapist, freaky ass off the streets, and then I get some good sports merchandise. We get good sports merchandise. Everyone gets good sports merchandise.
Yeah.
Nuts. Yeah.
What were we talking about before?
We're talking about the
The
Phillies.
Phillies.
Diddling.
Yeah. What else did I do? What else do I have written
It's a
down
slippery
here?
slope.
Okay, here's one thing. Are we concerned at all about Ranger Suarez?
Yeah. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
Oh, I
so.
got that written down, actually.
Yeah.
I think he's...
Chris Sanchez should be the number 3.
Sanchez looking pretty good, I will say.
Yeah.
I think... yeah, man, I think Rangers... I don't know. He doesn't look fully healthy right now. Whatever happened when he went down for a little bit doesn't seem like he's
Hasn't
up to
quite been the
snuff.
same guy since he came back.
I also think that it's his first full season back from injury, and he was playing real hard in the beginning and looked great. I think maybe
He
just...
might have emptied the tank.
Yeah, I think that he just needs a little bit of a break here a little bit. Like, you get through, the Mets will be a tough series. Maybe he gets to sit out the whole Washington series and all that, but I think he just needs a little bit more rest, and then he'll be back in postseason.
We will see. I mean, this is
I
kind
think
of...
so.
This is moderately concerning. This is from Matt Gelb. So he's talking about Rangers' start in Milwaukee the other night. He retired 7 of the first 9 batters he faced. Then, Milwaukee scored 2 runs in the 3rd inning and added another in the 4th. It continued the trend in the 5 outings since Suarez returned from the injured list. He's held batters to a 220, 273, 415 line the first time through the lineup. But when hitters see him a second time, those numbers jump to 350. That's the batting average. 413 is the OBP. 450 is the slug. So, I don't think Ranger has longevity. I think he emptied the tank in the first half, and he's probably a 3 to 4 inning pitcher at best.
Yeah.
Which, as your 4th starter in the playoffs, that kind of works.
Well, for your bullpen game, yeah, that's okay.
I mean, in the playoffs, starters have a pretty short leash. You're going to,
I mean, the caveat, too, is that last year, Nola didn't look that great either in the postseason or at the end of the regular season.
Yeah,
it was all
Nola's had some slow finishes.
It was all on Wheeler and all them to do their job. So I think that, if you got Wheeler and Nola pitching at a prime spot, you got Sanchez looking pretty great right now at your 3. So you give, Ranger little bit of leeway here and there. He's going to have some time off before the end of this, before the postseason starts. I think that you're in an okay spot with him. He's not performing like you would want him to as your, potential 2-3 guy like he was all season. But as a 3-4 guy, I'm okay with him being like that.
He's better than most of the other 4s in baseball, probably.
He's in a perfect world. You get 1-2, you get Wheeler, Nola doing their job. The offense plays great. Ranger comes in and you assume that the offense picks him up that game.
Do you think there's any chance that they go Wheeler's 1, Sanchez 2, Nola 3 to split up the righties and the lefties? I might do that.
It depends on who you're playing.
Yeah, I guess it does.
I think it really. Clearly we can handle Milwaukee if we have to ever play them. But I think if you come up at the start and somehow have to play, I don't know, like the Mets or something like that.
If we have to play the Diamondbacks,
I think
I'm
if
scared.
you play the Mets, I got to look and see how they lined up all season against those series. But I think if you play the Mets, you start either way. Wheeler's number 1.
Yeah,
against
without a doubt.
whoever. It doesn't matter who you play. But I think if you play someone close to home like the Braves or the Mets, you got to change it up just to throw them off their game a little bit. That's all.
Guess we'll see.
But we'll have to see how it shakes out. It's hard to predict that until we see who they play. But I'm all right. I'm concerned, but I feel decent.
I think Ranger's still in the rotation. It's just a matter of where.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not concerned about him. I just meant as a team as a whole.
I think that the fact that he's been so good in the playoffs the past couple of years, that they're just not. Even if he doesn't look quite as good, they're gonna have that trust in him.
The bullpen as a whole is historical in the postseason. Like they're gonna perform. They're each gonna have their game where they have a crazy ass 8 strikeout game and 1 earned run, whatever.
And we don't have Kimbrel anymore. His ass got DFA'd, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He was so bad for the Orioles. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
But
yeah,
that's the Phils right there. I think
the Phils. I guess
How much time we got?
We're at like an hour 12. We got a few minutes.
Damn, we've been talking. So do we want to talk about the arena?
Yeah, I guess we kind of have to. I mean, it's in the
beer in
news. Oh yeah,
nice.
We got to talk about the arena.
Yeah, so officially, Cherelle Parker, over Twitter or whatever, gave a little address that they have reached an agreement with the Sixers, and it looks like it's going to happen, which I
Thank God.
feel like all along it's been likely,
See, I always felt like it would end up in Jersey. I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like that was a move by the Sixers to put pressure to, because the thing is, their lease is up in 2031. They don't have a lot of time to, get, if they want to build a new arena or whatever, this needs to start happening soon.
Yeah, that's going to take several years, yeah.
I think that they, it was, their way of being you got to make a decision soon. And at the end of the day, I'm far from a big fan of Cherelle Parker, but, in her defense, I think if she had said no, it would have been the end of her political career. That's just that's just the reality. She, if you look back at the mayoral primary, it more or less served as a referendum on the arena, right? Because Helen Gim was the anti-arena candidate who got third place. Cherelle Parker won. The building trades back Cherelle Parker. So all of that was lining up to if she had backed down on that, it would have been really bad for her politically. And that, whatever. That's just politics. It's not saying that was the morally right thing to do or whatever, but it's just that's just the reality of how this kind of shit works. She, if she had, let them move to Jersey, she would have been known.
She would have been ridiculed for the next
She would have been known,
years.
1, as the mayor that let the Sixers leave Philly, and 2, as the mayor that turned her back on the trade unions.
Yeah.
So it would have been a total disaster for her and her administration.
Lose-lose for
it's
her
just
right now.
So it's just I'm not there's a lot that could be said about whether this is good or bad and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think the mayor had a whole lot
That's
of.
my point. Is that I don't think she has as big of a role as people think that she really did. I think that she's just kind of the scapegoat of
Yeah, I mean,
she's in this seat right now. Had it been anybody else, potentially, probably would have went the same way.
Yeah, and it's like at the end of the day, like, I mean, a couple weeks ago, me and Avery talked about this and about how, like, after that, like, impact report came out, and it was like, this will probably generate some money, but like not
but
as
negatively,
not as obviously not as good as the Sixers were saying it was going to be, and like maybe it would be nice if they built something else there, because like I think pretty much everyone is in agreement that Market East has been
the fashion district's a flop.
It's been in decline for years.
The commercial district.
That's like that's like supposed to be one of the main commercial districts of the city. It's been in decline for years. It needs something, and like
a stadium ain't it.
I think exactly. I mean, we're like I think pretty much everyone can agree like that needs something, and maybe the arena is not the best thing for that. But the problem is all those other things that we might like to have there, no one's coming along with $1.3 billion to build that shit.
Right.
They are coming along with $1.3 billion to build the arena.
I also feel
and
like
that's kind of just, it's like if you're the mayor and you're being offered that much money, that much private investment to revitalize.
How are you going to say
you just like, you can't say no. Like, it's just like,
if they use that money well, but again, Philadelphia is corrupt and content, so like, we'll see what they do with that. But I think that like the overall consensus too is that like we have so much room in South Philly to put the stadium down there.
That like brings me to another point. Like, so through this whole saga, the like anti-arena contingent has pretty much been directing their ire, and understandably and reasonably so, at the Sixers and Josh Harris. However, I think a very underrated villain in all this is fucking Comcast.
Oh, for sure.
Because this whole thing is their fault.
When they sold the Sixers in 2011. Yep.
They didn't have to do that.
This was their fault.
If they had held on to the Sixers, they would still be playing in the Wells Fargo Center. Right. None of this would be happening. The second they sold the team, you knew that they were not going to stay there. Because, like, I mean, as much as you can say that they, the Sixers ownership group trying to, like, find their own arena and stuff is based on their own, like, greed or whatever, which obviously is true, but it's just like, it would be like business malpractice to not do that.
Yeah, you don't want to be renting a building.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to, if you're broke free from that ownership, now you're on your own, you're not going to want to continue being a tenant and paying money to a landlord and leaving shit tons of money on the table.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no one in their right mind would want to stay at the Wells Fargo Center. So that was never an option. And then to the point of, like, could they have stayed in South Philly? Could they have just built another arena in the sports complex? That's also blocked by Comcast because they own a lot of the real estate there. Mm-hmm. A lot of those parking lots are under control of Comcast and, like, the Phillies. And now they have, like, a plan to develop some of that area.
But not the Navy Yard, though. You got GSK. You got GSK moving out of there. There's not really anybody else moving in there anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a whole campus there that moved out.
I think the problem with the Navy Yard is there's no, like, transit there at all.
It's not that far away, though. Compared to being in Center City, though.
It's far enough.
There's not.
It's not that far.
It's a pretty decent.
From Broad and Patterson to the Navy Yard, that's like a 20-minute, half-hour walk. That's far enough. That's kind of an inconvenience.
Well, then we'll see.
I know they've been talking about extending the Broad Street line there forever.
Then we'll see who's going down. Then we'll see who's going down to Center City there for these games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the other thing is, like,
it's just as equally distant from people coming from Jersey, who's half your fucking crew.
I mean, I'm not happy that it's in Center City.
My point, though, is that the same people that complain about it's too far from the subway going to the Navy Yard are going to be the same people that say Center City Market District is too far from the people that are coming from Jersey, which is half your fan base anyway. Yeah. People coming in the Patco and all that, I'm just saying it's still a far haul.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the Navy
there was no right answer for this situation.
And also, like, the Penn's Landing, people are like, why didn't they just do Penn's Landing?
Well,
they tried to, and the city turned them down. And then
that's sold to someone else.
It's sold to someone else who's done nothing with it.
Yeah, right. It's been under construction.
And it's like, okay, and so then there's Camden. And, like, Camden would have had a lot of the same problems, but even worse.
Yeah, and then you're the New Jersey 76ers, as I've talked about a couple times recently.
I mean... I think, like, there's reasons to be against the location for legit reasons, like the whole, like, the concerns with how it's going to affect Chinatown, I think, are totally legit. Like, that's something that's going to have to be addressed in one way or another. I don't know. I mean, I guess the one thing I would say to some of these things, though, is that, like, some of the the problems that are going to arise, I think, would have been problems whether or not there's an arena there. Like, the issue of, like, gentrification in Chinatown, like, that's going to be an issue
That's
whether or
already
not...
kind of happening.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, it's basically in Center City. It's a desirable area to live for obvious reasons. Like, it's around a lot of transit. It's in Center City. Like, you have access to all these things. There's, like, people that are being priced out of Fishtown and all this shit that are probably, like, looking to move there or whatever. So it's like, whether they built an arena or not, they have to address that issue one way or another. Like, they really need to build more housing in Chinatown. I mean, like, that's the only way. You have, like, limited housing. There's a certain amount of demand that's going to result in rent spikes, whether there's an arena or not. And, like, the issue of, like, transit, like, whether or not there's an arena, that's something that needs to be addressed at some point.
SEPTA's been needed to step it up.
Like,
this just incentivizes them to do so
like,
faster.
Yeah, like, and it's, I'm not saying that it's, like, a reason for, like, being for the arena or stuff, but, like, the one like, I do think forcing the issue with SEPTA is, like, a good thing. Again, like, not to say that, like, that means it's, like, worth it to do the arena. Like, I think that there's still definite drawbacks and all that stuff, but it's, like, at some point, you need to have some kind of push to, like, improve public transit in Philly.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing is, like, I think the one, like, fact about Philadelphia that, gets overlooked sometimes is that this was not built for cars. This is an old city that has narrow streets. And I think, like, if you want to make it, like, if you want to, like, optimize Philadelphia, it needs really good public transit, and it needs to be better than it is right now.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, if we want, like, good public schools, good services, all this kind of stuff, more people need to be brought in. You need to build up a bigger tax base. And it's just like, the math of it is like, if you have all those people coming in, they can't all be driving cars. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it's like, there needs to be more public transit options, like more buses, put a trolley back on those empty tracks on 11th Street.
I love a trolley.
Just like,
what
all
else?
that kind of shit.
Fewer people parking on the streets, you'll be happy. Your PPA loving ass. That's why you're so excited about this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's like,
He'll be pissed I'll be out of a job.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, there's definitely, like, problems, there's concerns. Like, hopefully, like, I'd also, like, suggest listening to did you listen to the Sixers PHLY podcast on this that came out Wednesday night?
I kind of did. I didn't finish it.
I thought they did a pretty good job of breaking down, like, kind of the implications and, like, what needs to happen in order for this to be successful. And yeah, like, the potential impact on Chinatown is a real concern. Like, I think, like, that's, like, the one, some of, like, the anti-arena talking points I felt were kind of just felt like run-of-the-mill, like, NIMBYism and,
for
and
sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
And which, like, was not as convincing to me, but it's like, yeah, like, I think that there is a lot of cultural value in Chinatown. Like, everyone I know loves that neighborhood. There's, like, awesome places to eat there. It's like you don't want to see it being negatively affected by this. So it's just like, there needs to be some kind of, like, proactive measures to mitigate shit. Like, I'm not, like, a policy expert. I don't know what that is exactly. Maybe it's, like, making part of it, like giving it, like, historical designation which would limit certain kinds of development, like some kind of, like, subsidized housing and to lower rents or whatever. Like, something needs to be done there. But again, like, I felt like those type of measures would have had to been taken eventually, whether or not there was an arena.
Yeah.
So I think this is just kind of, like, maybe accelerating things and, like, pushing the issue to the forefront and, like, making it a little more urgent than it would have been. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, dude, this is 7 years away. The world's going to be over in 7 years.
Yeah. So 2031.
I mean, yes, I do understand why people are very concerned about it from, like, a Chinatown perspective and a cultural perspective. At the same time, I think you said this out on the stoop. The people that are for it, it's not going to be as good as they want it to be, and the people are against it. It's not going to be as bad as they think it's going to be. Like, it's going to be a wash at the end of the day. Is it better than being in Jersey? Yes, for many reasons. Is it worse than being in the sports complex? Yes, but that's kind of unavoidable just because Comcast no longer owns the Sixers. I think we're kind of just going to have to live with it if we're still alive in 7 years or whatever. And I don't know. I think it will be good.
If we can avoid nuclear holocaust by then.
I don't think we will.
We'll see. Fuck that.
If we're still recording this pod in 7 years, I'll do 16 shots and 99 bananas.
The fucking cockroaches are going to be
and
taking over the pod.
And Bean will be gone by then. We'll have fucking a great base stadium, but no fucking money to play in it.
But yeah, I think at the end of the day, this was kind of inevitable. Once, Cherelle Parker's backed by all these unions, as you said earlier, this was going to happen. This was the path we're headed towards. I'm lukewarm on it. I don't really care. I would rather have a sports complex. So this has been my opinion from the beginning. A sports complex where all 4 teams play in the same area, because that's very unique around the country. Larger cities don't have it.
Especially in the Northeast, yeah.
This is what it is. It's the reality of what's probably going to happen, barring something unforeseen.
Yep.
Do we got time for nothing else?
I think that's pretty much
that's a good time to wrap it up.
Damn, we didn't get to talk about that fantasy guy.
Yeah.
I think it's...
Yeah.
If it's late, it's late.
Yeah. I don't think we have enough time.
Yeah, we talked about the Eagles too much. They better win.
Yeah.
See, man, when they lose, we talk about them more than when they win, I feel.
I know.
They
take up
too much. Yeah, we
get
went
too
if
worked
they win,
up.
we're just be like, oh, that was great. That was great. We're good,
we
man.
went too far.
If they're bad, there's too much things to pick apart.
Especially that game. I could write a book on that game.
No, we went too far.
that was a particularly awful loss.
Yeah,
I think
many things went
that
wrong.
That warranted an extended discussion.
We're not going to keep going back into it, though.
Yeah, we're done. I'm traumatized enough. My Monday night was ruined.
Yeah, my Tuesday was ruined.
Oh, yeah, that too. My whole week's been off, actually.
Yeah.
I haven't shit in days.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just going to about do it for us here tonight, everybody. Don't now. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you download your podcast at now. Give us a subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Send us an email that on the internets at the citywidepod@gmail.com. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Trevor was too busy saying the Creole voice to say thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening and subscribing, and you have one of them Skitterin Crawdads on me.
Peace.
Y'all come back now.